All right, Black Speakers Network family, welcome back to another BSN Speaker Spotlight. We haven't met yet. My name is Brian Oles, president and founder here at Black Speakers Network, where our mission is to equip, connect, and inspire the next generation of Black professional speakers. And you're joining us for the Speaker Spotlight series. What is the Speaker Spotlight series? Well, it's our opportunity to be able to introduce you to the incredible experts, thought leaders, speakers, authors, coaches, consultants that we have in the Black Speakers Network community. Each of the individuals that you'll be hearing from today is located. Their information can be found on our speaker directory located at blackspeakersnetwork.com/find a speaker. And so it's very easy to connect with them. But as you may have realized, BSN, we have a wealth of talent and experts from across every industry, leadership, health and wellness, mental health, financial technology, you name it, you could find it here. And so this is our way of being able to introduce you to the incredible talent that we have here at BSN, as well as we know that we have a number of folks who are planning upcoming conferences, seminars, workshops. Maybe you have a podcast. And so if you're looking for the next speaker, the next MC, the next facilitator, or host expert, whatever it is, we can most likely help you here at Black Speakers Network connect to your next great speaker. And so very much looking forward to the conversation. And I'm going to dive right on in because we have six incredible, it's like ladies' night here. We have six incredible women from all across the country that you'll be meeting in this particular session. And so I want to give them as much time as possible. And so I'm going to introduce our very first speaker. She is coming to us from Lafayette. We had a little error, but she's actually in Lafayette, Louisiana, is where she's located. And this is Miss Tonya Bolden Ball. And so, Tonya, I want to welcome you to Black Speakers Network Speaker Spotlight. Thank you for helping us kick off. And if you don't mind, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, Brian, for the opportunity. I am Tonya Bolden Ball. I hail from the great state of Louisiana. I live in Lafayette. I'm Mississippi born, Louisiana raised, and I currently serve as a D&I practitioner for one of the largest healthcare systems in the South. And I'm also the owner of the TBB Collective, where I specialize in mentoring, sponsorship, as well as leadership cultivation. So I'm excited. Thank you so much, Brian.
Absolutely. I can hear the pride in your voice, and that's the same way, I talk about Baltimore. So I'm super excited to talk with you. Can you give some folks an insight on how you got started in this journey? You mentioned, I know that you're a life coach, community strategist. You have the diversity, equity, inclusion experience. Can you give some folks some insight into how you got started?
How I got started was courtesy of my parents. My start began at my church, just always being forced to speak in this program, that program. And then I realized early on, I enjoyed it. So just growing up, being able to really get in front of people. And I noticed that I had a gift to cultivate change. So it wasn't until after I was invited to speak, to give the commencement address at my my college alma mater, I was like, let me look at cultivating this gift even more. So from giving the commencement address at my college alma mater, UL, as well as speaking at Essence, that's where my humble beginnings started. Sunday school, my church, as well as my college alma mater.
Very good. Very good. You mentioned Essence. Many people dream of speaking at Essence. And so for you to kind of get your start on that platform is, I think, kind of indicative of the direction that you were going to be headed into. And so could you give us some insight into your target audience? Like, who do you love working with? Who do you absolutely enjoy serving the most?
So my TBB Collective has a twofold approach, so to speak. First and foremost, women and girls, because I believe in as the word says, sharpening of the iron. So along with working with the community. So my target audience, I love women's empowerment because I was a young mother, became a young mom at the age of 18. So really carving out a space. And I think it's imperative as a Black woman, we shift our mindsets from getting a seat at the table to learning how to build our own table. So that's where I'm at in my career, Brian, really giving the tools and resources to women to show them how to find their voice, cultivate their voice, and once they've taken ownership of their voice, use it and apply it where it's necessary.
I love it. I love it. And I know it's one interesting thing on your bio. Well, two things really as it relates to women's empowerment. One, in 2020, you graduated from, I believe, the WEEN program, Women and Entertainment Empowerment Network. And then you also served as a mentor for the University of Louisiana at Lafayette's Black Women Leadership Association. So can you talk about like how those experiences have shaped the work that you're doing now?
Oh my goodness. The WEEN experience was one of those experiences, Brian, where, the pandemic provided me with a blessing because that class was the first ever virtual class. Along with that, that class was the class that removed age limitations. So I was the oldest person in that class. We call ourselves the 30 in, 30 out, and we still keep in contact. It really I was exposed to a lot of things in the entertainment industry. I really learned a lot, and just being able to be in the space of younger women, they really kept me on point in regards to always be hungry for more. So that was a huge blessing, and I was just very grateful for that, as well as the Black Women Leadership Association. I graduated from a predominantly white institution, and I recognized early on the importance of carving out a space for young ladies who may not necessarily want to join a sorority or haven't found their voice yet where they're ready to get a niche into a student organization. So in 2012, this is the 10th year anniversary, I assisted with launching the Black Women Leadership Association at my university, college alma mater.
Wow. Leadership in the making. Yeah, I think anytime that you are able to kind of create and cultivate a space, which is, of course, what we try to do here at Black Speakers Network, that's really where you're able to make some of the greatest impact. And so for people right now that are listening, we might have meeting planners out there, hosts of different organizations, community groups. Who are the people that you want to connect with? Like, what are the type of stages? What type of platforms are you most interested in speaking to right now?
So one of my target audience, so to speak, right now is really tapping into corporations because many of them, especially with the push for D&I into their corporate framework, going after those organizations, as well as those who are looking for people. The pandemic has really done a number on us. So many of them are looking for the empowerment speakers, the motivational speakers. And with my leadership background and coaching background, that's a great plus for any organization that's looking to bring in someone that can encourage, inspire, as well as educate. So, going after the corporate spaces, as well as the higher educational platforms as well, working with the colleges and universities. And I also I do a lot of life coaching with athletic teams. So working with those particular entities as well.
Makes perfect sense. And Tonya, this has been a great conversation. We always end with the last question, which is, you're welcome. Like, what do you want people to remember about you?
I'm a Mississippi-born, Louisiana-raised woman who has been told no for so many years, but I turned my nose into the yes. I turned my valley experiences. I used those to get me to the mountain. And I just love, being able to go beyond. The best thing you can do is tell me what I can't do. So I just want to continue to educate, encourage, and inspire people. Go beyond your moment and turn that moment into a movement of your life.
Well, you heard it here first. Tonya, thank you so much. And again, you are welcome. You're so welcome. If you're interested in connecting with Tonya, again, life coach, community strategist, D&I expert, you can find her at blackspeakersnetwork.com/find a speaker. And Tonya, thank you so much for being part of the Black Speakers Network community.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So we got one speaker kicked off. We have 5 additional folks to introduce you to. And hopefully now you kind of got a flavor of what it is that we're doing. Remember, these are 5-minute rapid fire interviews. And so they go really quickly. But the good news is that you can keep the conversation going with them. Every single person that you're listening to, you can connect with them online. They're on social media, LinkedIn. their website. And so make sure to follow up, or you may not be the person, but you may know somebody that they need to actually connect with. So a referral, a tag, a share, a like, a comment is always appreciated as well. So we are going to our second speaker right now. So I'm going to head on down to Raleigh, North Carolina, and introduce you to Dr. Rita Gibson. Dr. Rita Gibson is in the building. So Dr. Rita, welcome to BSN Speaker Spotlight. And if you don't mind, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, Brian, for having me. I'm excited to be here. Yep, I'm an owner of Gibson Licensed Financial Professionals. We're in Raleigh, North Carolina. And besides that, I'm a mom. I'm a nurse by trade for 28 years, helping people with their health, and was introduced to the financial industry in the last 7 years. And now I'm helping people with their wealth. And so what I want to do is help Black families and businesses to be financially educated so they can be financially free. Why? Because there's 95% of Americans do not know how money works, and they're struggling. So how do we help these families? We help them by doing monthly lunch and learns on how to build your wealth, how to protect your wealth. And we have Women in Wealth. And we also do free financial analysis. And when it comes to the finances, there are 4 financial crises that we're going through right now. Savings. There are 69% of Americans don't have $1,000 or less in their savings account. And with everything with the prices going up, we're in a major fix. And so we're here to help educate families on alternatives, because if you don't save money, money won't save you. And then with retirement, the average retirement around $26,000. And that's why you see so many people, baby boomer, in these big different stores, right? Greeting and everything else. And I used to think, well, they must be bored. They don't want to sit at home. They're so used to working. No, they have to work. And so where is your retirement? Are you able to retire? And then healthcare costs are on the rise. 70% chance of anyone between the age of 18 and 64 can be in a nursing home. I know that because I have a dear friend, 35 years old, been in a nursing home for over a year, and she doesn't share a private room. And so these are some things in our community that we need to talk about. Because you know what? 90% of the IRS revenue, they're coming after the middle class, those who make $200,000 or less. So what does that mean? They're deploying 87,000 new IRS agents, and they're being hired. You're either going to be rich or you're going to be poor. But I have the strategies and I have the information and resources to help families make sure they're in a better place so they can leave a love letter and not a liability for their loved ones.
Wow, that was a lot to unpack, and absolutely powerful information, Dr. Rita. I think that you are doing incredible work. You hit us with a stat of 95% of individuals really don't understand money, which is an alarming figure. I'm really interested to know if we could dive into your story a bit, because you said you started as a nurse, which I didn't know, and now you're a life insurance and financial professional. And so how did you make that transition? Because normally those things couldn't be further from each other.
Well, actually, I'm still am a nurse. I'm still transitioning out of that. And I work in the corporate setting of nursing. I'm actually in case management. So I see the insurance side of that. And so I'm able to see what it costs for people to put in a claim, to get services done, or to be denied services. And a lot of times, a lot of people who are filing bankruptcy is because of medical bills. Things are not in place. But we have the resources and strategies where in case something may happen, yes, you may have to qualify for some of these strategies, but this is where the free education comes in, where we help families, because there's living benefits. What if you get too sick to work? And you can still have living benefits through life insurance. It's called life insurance for a reason, because you're still alive. So you're able to access those resources. What if you can save money in a life insurance and have a tax advantage where you're not being taxed? There is a resource that you can actually do that. And it's been around since 1913. The wealthy been knowing about this. So it's time for us to educate our communities.
So let's dive into that area really quick, because you mentioned 4 areas specifically, but let's talk about savings, because I know that's something that, as you mentioned, most Americans are struggling with. And then you also mentioned, I know you specialize in, kind of developing these tax-free strategies to facilitate savings. And so what's one thing about saving that you feel like people often don't understand that you could address
Yes.
for?
That's a great question, Brian. A lot of people want to save all their money in the banks. The banks give you less than 1% rate of return. For instance, if I would give you $100, right, and I say save this money, and if we would use the rule of 72, and then we use the rate of return, so 72 divided by the rate of return of 1%, that means that $100 is going to take you 72 years to double. So your savings account is for emergency funds, but there are strategies out there where you can actually build wealth and save and never lose, because it is tied to compound interest within a life insurance. And if you ever want to look up and research the code, it's IRS code 7702. Again, it is a game changer, especially for the families in our communities and business owners as well, Brian.
All right, get on it, get some research. Somebody drop that in the comments, IRS code 7702, so we can look that up. I got it right?
Yes, you got it right.
Okay. Perfect. Now, for the meeting planners, I know folks are listening. Obviously, you work directly with families, consumers, but for folks who are hosting associations, meetings, podcasts, etc., who are the audiences that you're most interested in getting in front of right now?
I want to get in front of audience such as families in our communities. Anyone that's having any type of workshops, any women in networking, those type of industries, mortgage brokers, real estate owners, new entrepreneurs are starting, because I especially want to get in front of people who love to dive into the stock market, because you're saving all that money, but you're trying to put it in the bank and it's still going to be taxed. Will love to get in front of those type of people so that I can show them how they can save all of that they're working for and build wealth, not just for themselves. My mindset is to help you build wealth so you can leave a legacy. Wouldn't it be wonderful if your great-great-grandchildren knew that you left a legacy for them? That would be amazing for me. And that's what I'm all about.
I love it. We always talk about this generational wealth, but this is where it truly, truly starts. And so, Dr. Rita, there's like 80 questions I would ask you, because this is a topic that I'm really, really passionate about. But for the purposes of today, I want to encourage everyone to, follow and connect with you, obviously at blackspeakersnetwork.com. But before we close, could you share the one thing that you want to be remembered for?
I want to share that, look, I am your financial specialist to help you and your family build and protect your wealth so you can leave a love letter, not a liability, to those that you love. I'm dedicated in guiding you financially so you can be financially independent, so you can focus on the things that matter. And then also, I have proven results that can make sure that you are leaving a legacy that your loved ones will remember you for a lifetime. Thank you, Brian.
Listen, I need somebody to drop love letter in the comments, whether you're watching live or watching the replay, because that is powerful. So thank you so much, Dr. Rita. Again, you can connect with her at blackspeakersnetwork.com. I highly, highly recommend that we be serious about the state of our finances and making sure that we are building that generational wealth. And Dr. Rita, I want to thank you for being a part of the Black Speakers Network community.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, guys, we are rocking and rolling. And one of the things I love about this, as you've already heard, we're picking, these are in no particular order. We have experts. We just heard from Dr. Rita. She's a life insurance financial professional. We've heard from life coaches. We're going to hear from people from all different types of backgrounds. So even if you're just casually listening to this and you maybe stumbled upon this live and you're not even exactly sure what you're listening to, it's Black Speakers Network Spotlight. But you learn something, and then we get the knowledge and the resources to take that information a little bit further. And so that is what I love. So the next few people that we're going to be talking to are actually right here in my own backyard. I'm right outside of Baltimore, Maryland right now. And our next speaker is in Elkridge, Maryland. And this is Dr. Stephanie Wall. Dr. Stephanie Wall is in the building. And I want to welcome you to Black Speakers Network. Hey, we got visual effects as well. I love that. So Dr. Wall, please tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Hello, and thank you, Brian, for this platform. You know, I've got so many great stories I would love to share about you and how I met you, and you probably don't even remember it, but I met you at SpeakerCon
You can come.
2019 when I first saw you. So just know I'll come back and tell you that story another time. But you're an amazing person, so thank you for this platform and this program. So you all, they call me the Tower of Power. In my world, I know that has to do with two things. One, I stand 5'10" with some heels on, I'm about 6'9", but it also has something to do with the fact that my smile and my energy hits the room before I do. I call myself the transformation architect. I am the founder of 1 Million Lives Transformed. And what does that mean? I transform. I'm on a mission. I'm on a woman on a mission to transform the lives of 1 million women. And what does that mean? To take them from emotions to education, from being emotional to education, to transformation. So, through this transformation, I know that my work fuels the passion for seeing every woman to reach her full potential and to make an impact in the world. And I know this because I watch myself go from take my transformation through pain to my purpose. So I'm on a mission to transform worlds.
Listen, I need somebody to drop transform in the comments. I don't know why I been sitting on the transformation architect. Listen, the language, the luxury language, as Queen Conyers would say, is so powerful. And so
yes.
You're a personal professional development coach focused on 1 million women. I think that's incredible. Can you give folks some insight into how you got started? I mean, it feels like, I mean, you just came out the womb ready to like impact people, but how did this focus, this mission, very ambitious mission, by the way, come about?
So here's the deal. I told you all who I was. So retired commander from law enforcement, professor for a local university. But here's the deal. Many of us, everybody has a story. You guys have heard before. Dr. Cheryl says your story is about you, but it ain't for you. Well, here's the deal. I realized that many women like myself, many powerful women in their own right, we are scared to death when we get put in places that's new to us. And I decided that, you know what, I'm not going to sit on the sidelines, or when I learned something new, when I learned the science behind, why we do what we do. Once I learned how to transform my own life, I decided that I was going to be on a mission to go out there and teach other women, particularly women of color, how to transform their lives so they can get everything they want. All the women that want more to their life, more to their personal, professional, and then their relationships. So I decided that I was going to create 1 million lives transformed to transform 1 million lives, because when I transform those lives, they in turn transform the lives of others, and we can transform the world together.
So I know within transformation, there are a lot of elements here. Men and women, we have, we're, at least in the D&I space, we're constantly talking about, equity, breaking the glass ceiling, upskilling. So there's a lot of different threads we could pull on, but from your perspective, what is one area of impact when it comes to women specifically that you that may be misunderstood, but that you would want to ensure that you're addressing as we continue to identify ways to kind of close those gaps that we see out in society?
Thank you, Brian. Some great questions. I'm going to tell you that everything I do starts with the mindset. So I use the NLP method. It's all psychology. The one thing that I realized, that what I believed about myself, it didn't matter what the world believed about me. If I didn't believe that I could accomplish something, I couldn't. It didn't matter how many degrees I got, because I'm degreed all up. It didn't matter what somebody else said, how powerful I appeared. But when I got elevated to the next position, my mindset sometimes kept me there, and sometimes I sabotaged myself. And so the first thing I deal with is mindset, but manifestation, but mindset, so that people know that they already were born equipped with what they needed. And I showed them how to not only empower themselves, but to empower those around them, so that they are leaders, leading not only others, but leading themselves amazingly.
Very good, very good. People really underestimate the mindset. I think sometimes we hear that and we're just like, oh, it doesn't really matter, but it really does. If you and NLP, I know is a powerful methodology there, but we really underestimate the how the self-dialogue that we tell ourselves and, you know, what we believe in those belief systems that are kind of holding us back. And so I'm glad that you decided to focus on that. For the folks that are listening, maybe people that have like podcasts there, I know there's even within the Black Speakers Network community, there's so many different platforms. You mentioned SpeakerCon, but we met. What are the core audience that you're interested in getting in front of now? What are the platforms? What are the stages that mean the most to you to that you will want to have a presence on right now?
So I call myself a MC extraordinaire. So I believe anybody that's having a conference, particularly a conference that is created to empower women, professional women, career women, moms, entrepreneurs, anybody that's seeking more, that wants to grow, that wants to have more in their life, but they are driven. They're there to network. They're there to build. They're there to get out of their own way so that they can walk boldly in the new them. Anybody that is hosting an event, a conference, a webinar, or anything, and you need a dynamic person who not only can inspire, but who can educate, those are the people that I want to meet with, and those are the people I want to work with and serve with.
Yeah, can't get any clearer than that. And again, if you want to connect with Dr. Stephanie Wall, make sure you do that. She's the only Dr. Stephanie Wall in BSN, so it should be pretty easy. I think if you just type Wall in the directory, it'll where it gets you. But blackspeakersnetwork.com/find a speaker. Dr. Wall, I want to leave you with the same question that we leave with everyone, which is, how do you, Dr. Stephanie Wall, want to be remembered?
Okay, I want to be remembered as somebody that when you met, you guys have heard the late Maya Angelou always talk about, it doesn't matter. You guys heard thousands of people say of different ways, many different ways, is it doesn't matter how somebody, what they say or how they say something to you, but it's how they made you feel. I want to who poured into you, didn't just draw from you. And when you were in my space, whether it be virtually or in person, that you left with something more than what you came there with, and that you always remember that everything you want, because you've heard this too, everything you want is on the other side of fear, and that I was something I said or did through speaking, coaching, or just talking and being a friend in the moment helped you to get on the other side of your fear. God bless
Absolutely.
you.
Get out of that comfort zone. I love it. Dr. Stephanie Wall, I appreciate you. Looking forward to, continuing to see you thrive, connect with the women, and 1 million women. And I think this month is the month that the global population, I might be right, we're coming to Dr. Helen Holton soon. I know she probably knows these stats, but I believe we're about to hit the 8 billion population mark on the planet. And so when you think about, and most of the time we think about our impact, 8 billion people on the planet. You absolutely have a message. And Dr. Stephanie, you've carved out yours. And I'm going to encourage everyone watching, listening to do the same thing. But thank you for being part of Black Speakers Network. And I'm looking forward to continuing to work with you.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, guys, we are rocking and rolling. We're going to do a quick little video because we got some people in the comments asking, what is Black Speakers Network? How does it work? What is going on? And so we'll share a quick little video, 30 seconds, to give you a little bit of insight into some of the members of BSN. And then we'll come back. We have 2 speakers left to talk to, and we'll be right back.
Being a public speaker was one thing, but being a paid public speaker was an area where I needed support.
I have been invited as a guest on a local talk show. I have been featured in an online publication.
I have 3 shows under development, have 2 amazing keynote speaking opportunities coming up, and
we developed the confidence to produce our own 24-hour Love Each Other conference, and the BSN speakers showed up and showed out.
We all win together. We all grow together. I love BSN. I love the opportunities to work with so many people all across the world.
Go ahead and get connected, sign up, join, partner, sponsor, because BSN is helping speakers like me really build a speaking business.
All right, there you have it. There you have it. And so it is ladies' night here at BSN Speaker Spotlight. We have all dynamic women, experts, entrepreneur speakers coming to you. That was totally by accident, but it's a happy accident because you see all the knowledge that is being dropped. So we're going to go right to our next speaker. And it's also, we have a lot of doctors. I mean, we've already heard from Dr. Rita Gibson, Dr. Stephanie Wall, and then now we have the pleasure of hearing from Dr. Daryll Wharton, who's actually here in Baltimore, Maryland with me. I love talking to people here in the DMV. And so, Dr. Wharton, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Black Speakers Network.
Thank
Speakers Spotlight. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Hi, beautiful people. I am Dr. Daryll S. Wharton, and I am a life transformation coach. My background is in special education. I have a degree in social work, a degree in psychology, and so I am so well-rounded, and I use my gift to help people to transition into being the highest version of themselves. And like Brian said, I am from Baltimore, Maryland, known as Baltimore, or be more. And I love it here. I love my city, and I'm very proud of what I do here in Baltimore, Maryland.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now let's get into this because I know we've met several times at different forums, and so you are a life transformational coach, but I know you also focus on health and wellness as well, right?
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about that arena and how they maybe help or complement each other? We got the life coaching side, health and wellness side, because health is wealth, as we know.
It sure is. Well, you know what? I'm going to give you 3 numbers. I'm going to give you 674. That's not my area code. It's not my credit score. It's my weight of what I used to weigh, 674 pounds, almost 700 pounds. And once I lost that weight, and I realized that I not only lost weight, but I lost self-hate. I lost lack of confidence, and I gained so much more in loving myself where I am now. And so I help women to realize their worth no matter how much they weigh, and to wake up feeling absolutely amazing no matter what that number is on a scale. So I coach them to transition from worrying about how much they weigh and starting to, concentrate on their wellness and how they feel. Can they, feel good when they wake up in the morning? Are they going to be here to enjoy life, to be here to play with their grandchildren? And once that focus changes, that's when a whole bunch of stuff starts to transition from them. And I mean, starting businesses, because then they know I can do anything. And so I kind of use the health and wellness because people are shocked at that 674 number. But my 674 me, I love her because she decided to make the change, and girlfriend is a beast, and I'm grateful for her. And so I teach women to be grateful for who they are right here and right now.
Wow. I need somebody to drop 674 in the comments. I just want people to see that randomly and have to go back and watch the replay and figure out what the heck happened, because that is an incredible, incredible story. Now, what is it that you think people, and I'm on YouTube all the time. I'm always seeing like fitness influencers and people talking about, different, just different things. I feel like, particularly during the pandemic, everybody picked up, pandemic 15, pandemic 20, whatever. But what is it about the health and wellness journey that you feel like most people get wrong that you would like people to know?
What people do wrong is that they start with food. They start with the exercise, and then guess what? I did the same thing. I started with Zumba, lost a little bit, gained a little bit back. Then I went plant-based. I've been plant-based for 7 years, lost a little bit, gained it back. But let me tell you, when I changed here and here, because your subconscious mind is responsible for 95% of every single decision that you make. And I started with simple affirmations. I am beautiful. I can do this. I determine my outcome. And I said it all day, every single day. Then my entire life started to transform, where you can see I'm still cute, curvy, confident, right? I'm still curvy, and I don't mind being curvy as long as I am healthy. And that's how you connect the two together.
Wow, very cool. That needs to be a shirt. I'm gonna drop that in your spirit right now. If cute, curvy, confident isn't trademarked, I would like to, put that.
It's already trademarked, boo. You can go get your shirt now. Already trademarked.
All right, I like it. I like it. So let's talk a little bit about. So I know you're primarily focused on women. Who the audience that you like getting in front of? Like, are you talking to women's groups, associations? Like, who is kind of like what's your ideal stage at this juncture?
So absolutely, my ideal stage is women who just want to stop living in self-disappointment and stop judging themselves on I ate a piece of cake today and let that ruin their entire day. And so to get in front of them and let them know that, you know what, you actually can feel absolutely amazing while you're working on yourselves. But I'm a special educator by trade, so I can't leave my babies out, my babies with learning needs and special needs, to also empower them to know, you know what, you have a little roadblock just like women with weight, but you can still feel absolutely amazing for yourself and about yourself. And so I also like to be in front of special educators and teachers and principals so that our children can have a sense of empowerment no matter what their disability is.
Very good, very good. And then just one quick bonus question, because I know you focus on women and you talked about mindset. Dr. Stephanie Wall also talked about mindset. And so hopefully y'all are seeing a trend here. For the men, what is it that men can do? Let's say, if you're in a relationship, married, significant other, etc. What's like one tip that you can give to men to support women who are in the process of making that wellness journey and kind of changing their mindset, changing their behavior, and starting to adopt a healthier lifestyle?
I would say listen. And I would say join in. It's funny you asked me that question because I have experienced that. I've been with my husband since the 10th grade, where I was 400 pounds. I was 5'80" when we got married. And what he did for me, he listened to me and he joined in. Because not only did I go plant-based, he went plant-based, and our 3 girls went plant-based. So my recommendation for them is to join in. Don't just say I support you. Say, I'm going to do this with you, because we all can improve our wellness. It doesn't have to mean that you're trying to lose weight, because let me tell you, there are plenty sick, skinny people walking around. So you want your focus to be wellness, so they can only benefit from joining right in with their significant other.
Beautifully said, beautifully said. And so I know we only have a couple seconds left, but I want to make sure you have a chance to tell us what it is that you want to be remembered for. And for the folks listening right now, make sure you go follow, even if you don't know, like speaking opportunity, etc. Make sure you go follow her and all of our speakers that you heard here today. blackspeakersnetwork.com/find a speaker. But Dr. Daryll, yes, what is it that you want to be ultimately remembered for in this space?
I want to be remembered for helping people to realize that every single thing that you want is on the other side of what you do, and to be persistent and consistent. And how to do that is to change your mindset. And you got to retrain your personality is set by the age of 32. And so after that, you're going to have to work to change who you are. And it's okay. And just to practice every single day. I set my affirmations all day, every day. So just remember, everything that you want is on the other side of what you do. And it's your time now, and you have to take it.
Is your time now, indeed. I feel that in my spirit. Thank you, Dr. Daryll. I appreciate that so much. Keep up the incredible work. I love seeing your posts and your success story. You're crushing on LinkedIn, by the way. Y'all need to follow her on LinkedIn too. But listen, I really appreciate you, and thank you for being a part of Black Speakers Network. And I'm looking forward to continuing to work with you.
Absolutely.
All right. So guys, we are rocking and rolling, and we're cherry picking our way like across the country. We have speakers from coast to coast, West Coast, East Coast, South, even internationally as well. And so I'm so excited that you have this opportunity to get connected to them. But we heard from Dr. Rita earlier, who's in North Carolina. Our next speaker is also in Raleigh, North Carolina, which I think is really cool. Hopefully you all get a chance to connect. But we got Dr. Saundra Wall-Williams in the building. And so I want to welcome you, Dr. Williams, to BSN Speaker Spotlight. And please tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much for this opportunity. As Brian said, my name is Dr. Saundra Wall-Williams, and I am from the great state of North Carolina. I retired about 6 years ago. I was a senior vice president for all 58 community colleges in North Carolina. We call them the Great 58. I was over all the technology, the systems, the data, distance learning, all that sort of thing. But, while I was in that role, I saw that so many women who had a desire to move up in leadership, for whatever reason, couldn't. And they didn't have mentors, they didn't have sponsors, or they lacked leadership, they lacked mentorship or sponsorship. So when I retired, I decided to start my Next Level of Success Academy and to serve women to get clear on what their next move is. And you should always have a next move, right? To get clear on what your next move is and be able to break through your barriers, your struggles, so that you can get to your next level of success.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I love hearing that story. And, I'm actually a product of the Maryland, Baltimore City specifically, community college system. And so I recognize the power of that. And, and it's a really, really good thing. So I know that you are, you touched on a couple of things there, women in leadership, introduce some terms, mentorship, sponsorship. I know we hear those a lot. And so for folks that are maybe uninitiated, can you touch on the difference between mentorship, sponsorship, what that looks like?
Yep, I'll do that in this way, of course. So mentorship is where people, a person talks with you, a person that has experience, a person that can guide you, but they talk with you. Sponsorship is where people talk about you, meaning a mentor can guide you, but a sponsor is that person who steps out and says, you know what? I heard that you're looking for someone for a position. I recommend Saundra Williams for that position. So a mentor can guide you and give you instruction and can help you move forward. But a sponsor actually has the influence to be able, when they speak, it's like, oh, so Brian recommended Saundra, I'm going to hire Saundra. So that's the major difference. We can go on and on, but that's the biggest difference. Mentors talk with you, sponsors talk about you.
I love it. So it's kind of harkens back to that notion of you want your name to show up in rooms that you're not even in.
Exactly. That's
in a
exactly
positive way. In a good way, not a bad. Very good. Very good. So talk to us a little bit about, I know, right now, as you're focusing on, women in leadership, what is it one thing that maybe relates to this issue? I mean, we hear about, the infamous glass ceiling all the time.
Yes.
We hear about the disparity between, pay gap, underrepresentation, particularly in areas of like STEM and technology, financial services. What is it that progression of women in leadership, and what do you maybe want organizations or leaders to know about that progression that's actually maybe still, even in 2022, holding women back, that people may not necessarily understand?
Right. Well, it's very interesting that you asked that question, Brian. It's a great question. I am on a steering committee here in Wake County, North Carolina, where Raleigh is, and it's called Wake Invest in Women. And Wake Invest in Women is where we look at exactly what you just talked about. And so, if I had one thing to tell employers is that to give you the women opportunity. So many times, for whatever reason, women don't speak up and take opportunity. When I was senior vice president, I didn't wait for the women in my organization or the men either. If I saw there was potential, then I would go and call you out and give you the opportunity to do something. But a lot of leaders aren't like that. So, look for people who have special gifts, special talents, and you can actually see them moving up in your organization, and then give them that opportunity. And, I also tell leaders to help your people have an entrance and an exit plan. So often we get a job and we have an entrance plan and we do great at our job, but then after you're at a job for like 3 to 5 years and sometimes less, it might be time for you to move on. So what's your exit plan? and most of the time organizations don't help you have an exit plan, but when a good manager, a good leader that brings up other leaders will help people not only come in and do great at the job and give them a voice, but also help them develop the skills they need to move on to whatever their next is. And you'll always hear me say, there should always be a next in your life.
Listen, that is sage wisdom at its finest. Somebody put that in the comments. If there should always be a next in your life.
Yes.
Yes. There should always be a next in your life. Somebody drop it in for us. So talk to us a little bit about the stages that you're been speaking on, the stages that you love getting in front of. Who are the organizations, the associations? I know, higher ed, you kind of put your stake in, so that would be a natural fit. But like, who are the companies and organizations that you're really looking to connect with?
Okay, so higher ed, as you say, and I do coaching and speaking and mentorship, professional coaching, professional speaking, professional mentorship. So when the companies that I work with corporations, women in corporations, women in leadership in corporations, of course, higher education, also ministry. I work with a lot of women in ministry who want to move their ministry forward, but for the same reason, they don't have mentors. Organizations that have women leaders in them. So, for example, there may be organizations that have conferences for women leaders, those sorts of organizations. So recently I have, just finished a conference where over 1,000 some odd women, where leaders all across North Carolina came in for a conference here, and DE&I again, talking about mentorship and sponsorship and how important it is for women in leadership.
Very good. Very good. And now, obviously, there's so much we can dive into, but I want to make sure you have time to answer this follow question, which is simply, what is it that you want to be remembered for?
Wow. When I saw that question, it was like, oh my goodness, how can I answer that question? Because there's so much I want to be remembered for. But you know what, Brian, it boils down to one thing. And that is that while I was here on this earth, that I use my God-given talents, my skills, the abilities, and my anointing, everything that God gave me to help women to reach their next level. Their next level is defined not by themselves, but their next level is defined by whatever the steps that God has ordered them to. And so whatever those steps are, that I played a little part in all the gifts and everything that God has given me to help them get there.
I absolutely love it. Listen, guys, you can connect with Dr. Saundra Williams. She is in North Carolina, but she's making an impact across the country and around the world. BlackSpeakersNetwork.com/find a speaker. Dr. Williams, thank you so much for being part of the Black Speakers Network community, and looking forward to continuing to work with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys, we've made it to the end of the road. We have one powerful speaker left, and guess what? She is a doctor. You probably figured it out, but she is right here with me in the great old city of Baltimore, Maryland, and that is my friend and one of our amazing BSN members, who's just been an incredible advocate for us over the last couple years. Actually, we have Dr. Helen Holton is here. Welcome to BSN Speaker Spotlight, Dr. Holton. And if you don't mind, you can unmute yourself and tell the people a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do.
Well, Brian, first of all, thank you for this phenomenal opportunity to come before the membership and anyone else that's watching to share what I do, what I love, who I am. I am Dr. Helen Holton, a powerful manifestation of resilience. Resilience is something we're not born with. It's something we build throughout our lives. Learning to connect with the power of resilience is a game changer. Resilience is really a power available to everyone. However, it's through your conscious awareness, practice, and use of it that makes it powerful. Have you ever gone through something awful that changed your life forever? Interrupted the dreams you were destined to live? I have. And under the care of 2 doctors, failed remedies and shock therapy with steroids solved the problem. So we thought. A couple years after the cure, a side effect reaction changed my life forever. From 1989 to 1991, My life was on a constant pain, walking with canes and crutches, not working, living on disability, and daily use of prescribed opioids for pain that never went away. On a 10-point scale of happiness, my joy went from 8.5 to less than 0, filled with mixed emotions from confusion to fear, anger to blame, defeat to despair. I felt forsaken by God. It was in this darkest period of my life that I learned the power of resilience. On January 10th, 1991, I had my first total hip replacement. In post-op recovery, laying in bed, unable to walk or command my body to move, I had an awakening. The pain that became the derailer of my life was gone. And in that moment, I was able to see all I'd endured to get to a place of peace without pain deep within. You can use resilience and not know it. When you get knocked down and get back up to keep moving forward, that's resilience. The power to persevere and push through to what you want for your life. I've had multiple hip surgeries since then and other life-changing events. Resilience is the power that keeps me going. Elizabeth Edwards once said, I've been sustained throughout my life by 3 saving graces: my family, my friends, and a faith in the power of resilience and hope. I am Dr. Helen Holton, the manifestation of powerful resilience. What will you do to awaken the power of resilience in you?
Listen, that is an entire word, an entire keynote, an entire mic drop. As Quinn Conyers would say, Dr. Holton, this mic drop moment brought to you by Dr. Helen Holton. Listen, resilience is a very powerful. I don't hear anybody else besides you really talking about resilience, not to mention such a powerful story, which I did not know those full details, by the way, that shaped your experience now. And I just really want people to know kind of some of your background. And so I normally don't do this, but I really just need people to know kind of who you are. And so you already mentioned your resilience and leadership coach, strength accelerator, strategist. You spent 21 years here in the Baltimore City Council. You talk about resilience, public service to teach you resilience, right? But in addition to all that, you are also certified public accounting, CPA, master's in business administration, professional in human resources, holding your SHRM, PHR, as well as your CP, holding several coaching certifications, as well as being credentialed through ICF, which is the International Coaching Federation, professional certified coach, as well as a certified mentor. And so I just really want to make sure that folks understand that you're hearing from somebody who not only values education and leadership and training and development through resilience, but also has consistently invested in themselves. And so, Dr. Holton, I'm so happy that you're here in BSN. Can you give folks some insight into I know you have a lot going on and things, are continuously shifting. Who are the types of people that you find yourself talking to now, and who are the people that you want to speak more to?
Leaders, executives, entrepreneurs, and emerging leaders, especially women leaders. Women, we have such a challenge at stepping into that space and place that's really been God ordained for us. Working with leaders to support your move to more of what you really want for your life, to help you level up your leadership by leveraging your strengths, learning to manage your weaknesses, and build your resilience, because in this life, you need it more than ever. Using a heart-centered approach, I work with leaders to achieve more success with less stress and deeper joy in life.
I love it when things are simplified. Leaders, got it. And so that's really cool. Now, what is it about and I know you Stella, we just talked about the certifications. What is it about like the leadership experience, particularly today, that you think is most challenging for organizations of any size? I mean, I know, we're learning new technology. We're trying to grow virtual teams. There are all sorts of distractions. But what is it from your perspective that you feel like is most challenging for leaders, particularly, in this area of resilience?
Many leaders don't know what they do best, their quickest path to success and fulfillment. They don't know it. And that's where I come in, working with executives, entrepreneurs, and emerging leaders through coaching, training, consulting, motivational speaker, show host of Dr. Helen Speaks, Strength, Resilience, and Leadership. These are the things that I use to help people to understand. If you're in leadership, doesn't it make sense to know your best path to lead? Many leaders don't know that today. I help them find it, to develop it, to grow it, to nurture it, and to create their legacy that they'll leave when they decide, okay, I'm done. It's a wrap. And so that's what I do.
Perfectly said. So there's so many elements we can get into here. Again, if you're just jumping in, I highly recommend going back and catching not only the past speakers, but just really that powerful story that you shared in the beginning, Dr. Holton, as we leaned into the conversation of resilience. And so speaking of legacy, would love for you to share with the folks, what do you actually want people to remember most about you and the great work that you're doing?
What I want people to remember most about me is that life is for living. To live it best is to develop a conscious awareness of your own resilience. And when you're ready to take your leadership to the next level, join the community of Dr. Helen Speaks Power, my app that's coming out soon. We engage with you around your strengths, resilience, leadership, engagement, well-being, faith, and fulfillment, with more to come. Dr. Helen Speaks Power, where you can soar to higher heights, anchored in love, hope, joy, and life success, leading through the best of who you are. That's what the world needs more of. More leaders that are really anchored, not by what they see others do, but by developing the gifts, graces, and talents within. And that's where our journey begins.
Perfectly said. Dr. Helen Speaks Power. And so she said, we developing an app. Like, this is what I'm talking about. And so y'all make sure that you connect with Dr. Helen Holton. And guess what? You may or may not be a leader in your organization. If you know of one, tag them. We're live right here on multiple platforms. Tag a person that needs to hear this, forward it, share it, like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the deal. But Dr. Holton, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your advocacy of Black Speakers Network, your work you're doing to develop leaders around the world, and just your continued commitment to making sure that we can show up with resilience.
Brian, thank you. I do this work literally all over the world. It's nothing like getting up at 1 a.m. to do a training in Hong Kong. You know, you do what you got to do. The most important thing I want to leave your listeners with, whatever it is that you want for your life, that you really want for your life, it's tied up into 3 things. Number 1, it's tied to your passion. What do you want to do to make a difference? That you just wake up in the morning saying, oh, yes, this is what I got to do. Number 2, your purpose. Know your direction. Find your North Star. And lastly, and this is directed to the ladies, that irrepressible sauciness that you bring, that lives within you, that sass that you've got. It's time to bring it out and let the world know it. This is our season, our time to make strides like never before, to rise to the top of your game.
Well said. Well said. Thank you so much, Dr. Holton. We'll be talking to you soon, I'm sure. And thank you for being part of the Black Speakers Network community.
It is my pleasure and joy. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, we have made it to the end of another incredible BSN Speaker Spotlight. Again, if you missed any part of this, I want to highly recommend to go back and check out the replay. And I know we have a number of folks who are thinking like, wow, I would love to actually be interviewed, to come on a platform like this, as well as many other speaking opportunities. This is one thing that Black Speakers Network is focused on, is getting speakers in front of the audience that they're called to serve. And so if that is you and you're looking for additional visibility, opportunities to be able to do things like this, make sure you head on over to blackspeakersnetwork.com/join and join the Black Speakers Network premium community. Today, you heard from Dr. Helen Holton, Dr. Saundra Wall-Williams, Dr. Daryll Walton, Dr. Stephanie Wall, you see a trend, Dr. Rita Gibson, and Tonya Bolden Bell. And they are experts. And guess what? We would love to welcome you to the community as well. So that being said, we are done for this evening. I'm going to encourage you to keep speaking up because your audience awaits, and we will see you on stage. Being at a HBCU like Morgan State University, I saw firsthand the talent, the expertise, the creativity that we bring to the table when it comes to this world of public speaking.
Black Speakers Network is a space where I can interact and engage with my tribe, with Black speakers.
It's all reflective of an abundance mindset that there is enough for all of us to win big.
BSN serves others not only in community, culture, but around the world.
BSN not only helped me book additional paid opportunities, but gave me the accountability and confidence booster I needed to really strive and thrive consistently in my business.
They curate all the engagements and email them to you. So all you have to do is simply click and apply to the one that's applicable for your niche.
I have built my business and have expanded my knowledge, met amazing people, and I have landed several speaking engagements.
I truly thank the entire team behind Black Speakers Network for helping me share my story with the world.
In less than 3 years, I was able to increase my visibility, my credibility, and even my connectivity.
What I experienced with BSN is phenomenal connections. And I've met so many great people that have added value to my life in ways I just wouldn't have expected.
If you want to speak on college stages, BSN has something for you. If you want to speak and sell, I feel like BSN has a cohort for you.
At the end of the day, Black Speakers Network is really there for anyone who is longing to reach the audience that they're called to serve.
Black Speakers Network truly is a place where you can feel like you're home.
If you are on the fence, get off the fence and join the family. You won't regret it.
It is the #1 organization that I recommend that every speaker become a member of if you really want to catapult your success and maximize to its fullest potential your voice.